A scream tore through the storm as lightning split the sky over Ridgewood Creek. Rain hammered concrete and steel until the world became a blur of gray. Beneath the old maple bridge, a soft whine rose above the roar of thunder. Bella, a golden retriever with soulful amber eyes, trembled as she pressed her 3 newborn pups against her chest. Her paws were raw, her fur matted with mud and rain. Every muscle ached, but she would not yield. A stray bolt of lightning illuminated her face, etched with determination. The unleashed wind carried her frantic resolve downstream, toward a distant hope she could not yet name. Welcome to the Heart Force channel, where you and I find more meaning in life through dog stories. Before we continue, please comment below and let us know where you're listening to this video. And if you have any stories about my loyal friend, please share them with us. Claire Donovan knelt at the bridge's edge, flashlight in hand. She'd been out searching for Toby, her neighbor's missing terrier, when she heard the soft, desperate cries. Mud clung to her boots. Her raincoat offered little protection against the gale. Yet she could not ignore that pitiful sound. Through the torrential downpour, she edged closer and found Bella's hollowed form huddled in a rocky alcove. The sight stopped Claire's breath. The dog's ribs showed through wet fur. Her puppies whimpered, tiny bodies slick with rain. Claire dropped to one knee. A short, urgent sentence. "I've got you." Bella flinched but did not flee. Instead, she pressed her pups tighter. Claire settled her flashlight on the ground, crouched low, and spoke in gentle tones. Her voice was a soft loop of reassurance. She clicked her tongue and produced a scrap of cooked chicken from her jacket pocket. Bella's ears twitched. Hunger and fear warred in her gaze. Claire remained still, letting the minutes stretch like a prayer. When Bella finally inched forward, nose quivering, Claire extended the chicken piece. A single bite, then another. Bella ate while Claire whispered, "You're safe now." By dawn, Bella and her pups were wrapped in towels and tucked into the back of Claire's old SUV. The headlights cut through lingering fog as they drove towards Cedar Grove Animal Rescue, a modest facility on the outskirts of Dover, Delaware. Inside, Dr. Michael Reyes, the part-time veterinarian, greeted them. He ushered Claire into an exam room, where Bella's injured paws and mild hypothermia became clear. The pups were tiny but sturdy. Each had a thin umbilical stump, evidence of a recent birth. Claire set to work. She cleaned Bella's wounds with warm saline. Short sentence, she shivered. Then, another warm excision of grime. A medium sentence. Even with a fresh poultice and clean bandages, Bella's eyes betrayed lingering trauma. Claire's long fingers moved silently. She wrapped each paw tenderly. Every touch was an unspoken vow. "I will protect you." At one point, Bella's head lowered onto Claire's lap. The connection sparked an unexpected surge of warmth through Claire. Outside the window, volunteers bustled. Cedar Grove's lobby gleamed with donated furniture and framed photographs of happy adoptees. But behind the scenes, supplies ran thin. Claire knew the contrast well. The foyer's polished floor hid frayed carpets and a peeling ceiling. Donations to the rescue had plateaued, even as intake rose. She'd seen well, meaning board members focus on gala invitations instead of syringes and antibiotics. Yet in that exam room, none of that mattered. This mother dog and her pups needed only care and a chance. Dr. Reyes returned with a syringe of nutrient supplement. "They'll need this for the next few days," he said. His brow furrowed at Bella's tense posture. "She's scared." Claire nodded. She whispered to Bella, "You're safe here." The dog's ears pricked. A flicker of trust passed between them. Claire stroked the top of Bella's head. Short sentence, it was a start. After the pups were warmed and fed, Claire carried them into the nursery, a small, heated room lined with soft blankets. Each puppy nuzzled a sibling, exhausted. Claire arranged them in a circle. Long sentence. As she watched their tiny chests rise and fall in unison, she marveled at how life could feel so fragile, and yet so fiercely determined to persist against the odds. In the soft morning light, Claire stepped outside to call the transport van that would take Bella and the pups to a long, term foster home run by Sarah Langley, Cedar Grove's most experienced volunteer. The rain had eased to a drizzle. The creek beneath the bridge was now a gentle current, as though penitent for its earlier fury. Claire pressed her palm against the rescue's doorframe and closed her eyes. A medium sentence. She allowed herself a moment of relief, tempered by the memory of Bella's haunted stare. When the van arrived, Claire helped lift Bella, now wrapped in a fresh towel, onto the seat. The puppies nestled safely in their carrier. Sarah offered Claire a grateful nod. "Thank you," she mouthed over the rain sounds. Claire only smiled. Back inside, Claire sank into a worn chair. Her boots were soaked through. Her hair clung to her forehead. Short sentence, she felt drained. Then, she was alive. She closed her eyes and breathed deeply. Long sentence. In that hush, she understood why she had driven through storm and mud, why she had risked missing the deadlines and angry calls from the sanctuary board, why she would keep fighting for Bella and every dog like her. The morning sun finally broke through low clouds as Claire returned to her desk. She flipped open her notebook and began to write. Found a mother dog under Maple Bridge. 3 newborns. Hypothermia. Wounds healing. Vets on board. Foster ready. Story to share. Each line was a step in the next chapter of Bella's journey, and Claire's mission to protect the vulnerable. Claire woke to dawn's pale light filtering through linen curtains. Her phone buzzed, Sarah's text. The foster home couldn't take Bella's litter. Short sentence. Crisis. Then, Claire's heart pounded. She raced to her laptop, cold coffee forgotten. A foster application mix-up left Bella and her pups homeless again. She grabbed her raincoat. Medium sentence. The world was still wet from last night's storm, slick streets reflecting broken clouds. But Claire's resolve was fiercer than any gale. She called Cedar Grove's only alternative. Hope Haven Rescue in Newark. A friendly voice answered. Yet when Claire explained Bella's situation, the volunteers sighed. We lack space and supplies. Claire's chest tightened. Long sentence. The news landed like a physical blow, forcing her to acknowledge how fragile their safety nets truly were and reminding her that every sanctuary's goodwill could collapse under pressure. That afternoon, she arrived at Hope Haven with Bella in tow. The facility seemed promising. New fencing, bright kennels, a playground area. But behind the veneer, she sensed unease. A locked door barred entry to a rear ward. Claire's volunteer escort, Mark, murmured, "That's our overflow." He offered a weak smile. Then, "We've had some incidents." A twist. Short sentence. Suspicion. Claire's brow furrowed. "What incidents?" Mark glanced away. Finally, he admitted, "A few dogs vanished." Claire's pulse spiked. She recalled the mystery at Cedar Grove. Could be the same pattern? She looked at Bella's wary eyes. Long sentence. Bella's trust in humans was already so fragile. Discovering a possible trafficking network here could shatter her newly forming hope. She set Bella and the pups in a safe room and interviewed Mark. He described odd late-night adoptions and signed paperwork, off-campus transfers, blank forms filled later. Always after big donations. Always the most appealing dogs. Claire's jaw clenched. She pulled her notepad from her bag and wrote, "Late-night vanishings, 3 this month. No records. Wealthy donors. Kennel overflow locked." Mark's phone chimed. His face went pale. Before he could speak, Claire heard scrambling behind the locked door. Sharp barks. A crash. The ward's alarm blared. Mark cursed. Claire dashed to the control panel. The buzzer sounded. In the courtyard beyond, 2 figures in hooded jackets pushed a cage across wet grass. A German shepherd inside paced frantically, teeth bared. The handlers ignored flashing lights and ushered the cage toward a van. The shepherd's panicked howls echoed. A second twist. Short sentence. Outrage. Claire sprinted outside. Rain splattered her face. Without hesitation, she loaded Bella into her arms and sprinted toward the commotion, shouting, "Stop!" The handlers halted, startled. They'd never seen her before. "Get back!" one yelled. The other cracked a whip. Claire stepped between them and the van. She held Bella high. Medium sentence. Her posture was defiant, rooted in the belief that no dog under her watch would be sold like livestock in a market. A tense standoff ensued. Then a white-coated vet emerged, breathless. "I ordered those dogs to be transferred to our rehab clinic," she exclaimed. "But I didn't authorize this method, especially without notifying you." She glared at the handlers. Claire recognized Dr. Lena Ortiz, Hope Haven's lead veterinarian. The handlers exchanged uneasy glances. Under Lena's glare, they finally retreated to a small, fenced area. Claire's legs trembled as adrenaline drained. Bella whimpered, head tilting. "Are you hurt?" Claire asked, setting Bella on the ground. The dog's tail thumped weakly. Claire knelt and touched her flank. "No bleeding, just nervous trembling." Dr. Ortiz placed a hand on Claire's shoulder. "Thank you," she mouthed. Then, louder, "Mark, secure those dogs properly and document their transfer." Inside the staff office, Claire and Lena reviewed records. They found a pattern. Sudden adoptions of young, purebred dogs, often rescues, right before major fundraising galas. Signed by anonymous benefactor. Addresses untraceable. Lena's voice trembled. "I thought I'd imagined it." Claire shook her head. "We're looking at a trafficking ring, possibly tied to dog shows or breeding operations." Short sentence. Horror. They drafted an urgent report for state authorities and Hope Haven's board. But when they tried to send it, the email bounced. Claire frowned. They tried again on Lena's phone. No connection. A third twist. Short sentence. Sabotage. Lena slammed her palm on the desk. "My work phone's blocked." Claire tapped the LAN cable. No network. She restarted the router. "Dead. Someone's cut our communications," she whispered. They looked at each other. Lena's eyes brimmed with tears. "We're isolated." Claire stood. "Then we go direct." She grabbed her notebook. Long sentence. In that moment, Claire decided to mobilize her own network, contact federal agents, local rescue groups, trusted volunteers, and expose the corruption, no matter the personal cost. That evening, she left Hope Haven with Bella and the pups, heading to a friend's farm in Dover Township, an unofficial safe house where she and a small team could coordinate. Each mile on the interstate felt like a step away from sanctuary and a step closer to open conflict. Under the glow of her dashboard, Claire mapped out tasks. Secure communications. Collect video evidence. Compile witness statements. Protect the dogs. Short sentence. Urgency. She arrived at Willow Creek Farm, where her longtime friend Marcus Hale welcomed them with a steaming pot of soup. His barn offered space and privacy. Bella curled on fresh straw, instinctively seeking refuge. Marcus led Claire to a makeshift command center, a folding table with a laptop, a battery-backed router, and 2 phones rigged to mobile hotspots. He handed Claire a stack of printed forms. "I reached out to the FBI's Animal Crimes Unit. They'll need affidavits." Claire laid out the paper. Tab 1. Incident reports. Top Gaxi, Fenentals. Top Golme, Volunteer Testimonies. Top Nelia. Photographic evidence. Each tab thick with notes and scribbles. Marcus drew a plan. "We'll launch a secure drop site. Witnesses can upload anonymously. We document everything here before sending to federal." He nodded toward Bella's enclosure. "And we keep the dogs safe." Claire exhaled. Medium sentence. For the first time since dawn, she felt a sliver of hope as she surveyed the protective perimeter Marcus had crafted. As they worked late into the night, Bella's soft snore blended with the hum of laptops. The pups huddled at her side, safe for now. Claire whispered, "We're not just saving you. We're saving countless others." A low breeze rustled through the barn's open doors. Claire paused, listening. The air felt charged. She glanced at Bella's alert ears. Something was coming, an unforeseen challenge that would test their fledgling network. But Claire nodded to Marcus and returned to her laptop. Long sentence. They had already lost one sanctuary and nearly lost these precious lives. Now, armed with truth and allies, they would face whatever storm lay ahead, together and unbroken. The night air was heavy with tension. Claire tossed in the hay-strewn loft. Her phone buzzed. It was Agent Powell from the FBI's Animal Crimes Unit. Short sentence. They needed a meet. Then, a secure drop on Cedar Bend Road, tonight at midnight. Claire swung her legs over the edge of the cot. The summer cicadas droned outside. Medium sentence, despite the warmth. A chill ran down her spine as she realized how close they were to exposing the trafficking network, and how vulnerable they still were. Marcus stirred at the table below, poring over the printed incident logs. Dr. Ortiz sat opposite him, eyes red from the late shift. They'd worked around the clock to compile affidavits and video clips culled from clandestine cameras at Hope Haven. Now, the federal agents wanted a physical handoff and proof the ring would be there. Claire joined them, rubbing sleep from her eyes. Long sentence. She felt the weight of every dog who had vanished, the snarled wire cages, the midnight transfers. The terrified barks lost in the dark. A burden she carried as both promise and threat. Dr. Ortiz cleared her throat. I've called 2 volunteers, Jocelyn and Peter. They'll man the camera points. They know how to stay hidden. Short sentence. Relief. A knock at the barn door. Marcus answered. Sarah Langley slipped inside, clutching Bella's puppy carrier. I found this, she whispered. A microchip scanner and your stolen flash drive. She held out a battered USB stick. A twist. Medium sentence. Hope surged through Claire. Evidence they thought destroyed had resurfaced, guided by someone who refused to abandon them. They gathered around the lantern-lit table. Sarah explained. She'd tracked the ring's courier to a drop point near Dover Waterworks. Found the scanner among discarded trash. She'd risked arrest, and worse for that drive. Claire's heart pounded. Short sentence, awe. Then gratitude. Agent Powell's message pinged again. 0800 hours on Cedar Bend. Don't be late. They loaded the flash drive into Marcus's secure laptop. The files popped up, spreadsheets of adopted dogs with blank adopter info. Secret ledgers listing assets relocated, GPS logs of unmarked vans. Dr. Ortiz exhaled. This is enough to get search warrants. Claire knew the stakes. Long sentence. With these records in hand, law enforcement could sweep the ring's operations nationwide, but only if they could deliver them before the traffickers suspected a breach. They packed their gear into 2 cars, laptops, hard drives, solar chargers, first aid kits, and Bella's family, safe in a makeshift crate padded with straw. Peter and Jocelyn busied themselves with motion-activated cameras and backup drives. At 11:15 p.m., Claire slipped behind the wheel of her SUV. Marcus followed in his pickup. Dr. Ortiz rode shotgun. The convoy moved silently through dark back roads. Bella whimpered once, then fell silent. The pups squirmed, trusting only their mother's warmth. On Cedar Bend Road, a cluster of unmarked utility vans idled near an abandoned warehouse. The drivers, broad-shouldered men in dark jackets, talked in low voices beneath flickering sodium lights. Claire's knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. Peter crouched beside the warehouse's side door. Jocelyn raised her camera. Short sentence, recording. They waited. The air felt taut. A single bead of sweat rolled down Claire's temple. Then the door creaked open. A handler led Bella's stolen German shepherd from last week, now muzzled toward a waiting van. The dog's eyes pleaded for rescue. A second twist. Medium sentence. Seeing another dog suffer, miles from the farm, ignited Claire's resolve. She would not let fear paralyze her. Agent Powell's voice crackled through Claire's earpiece. Proceed with caution. FBI team is 5 minutes out. We'll secure the perimeter. Claude activated the SUV's hazard lights. The traffickers started. They saw the flash of camera rigs and heard hushed shouts. Claire's heart thudded. She pressed the horn. The dogs barked. For the dogs, Claire whispered. She threw open the door and charged forward, flashlight in hand. The handler aimed a baton. Claire shouted, "Stop! FBI!" Sirens wailed in the distance. The handler hesitated. Suddenly, another figure emerged from the warehouse. Mark, the Hope Haven staffer. His face was stern. Medium sentence. Claire recognized him immediately. "Don't move," Mark said, raising his hands. A third twist. Short sentence. Betrayal. Claire froze. "Mark?" she gasped. The handler snarled, "He's one of us." Flashlights snapped on around them. Red and blue lights cut through the darkness. Agents fanned out, weapons drawn. Claire backed away from Mark, heart in her throat. She watched as federal agents arrested the handlers in sequence. The pack of distressed dogs, including the shepherd, were freed. Mark's eyes met Claire's. Long sentence. In that instant, the world narrowed to a single painful truth. One of their own had been feeding the ring inside information, all along, betraying the trust of every animal and every person who dared to stand against the trafficking network. Two agents cuffed Mark. He offered no struggle, only a hollow stare. Dr. Ortiz rushed to the shepherd's side. "It's okay. You're safe." She unclipped the muzzle and knelt to soothe the terrified dog. Bella whimpered in her crate. Claire opened the door. The dog nosed Bella's flanks. Bella responded with a tentative wag. Sirens closed in. Agents loaded evidence from the flash drive into secure cases. Claire watched as the traffickers were led to squad cars, their faces obscured by hoods. Later, beside the warehouse, Claire knelt among the rescued canines. She cradled the shepherd's head. Short sentence, forgiveness. Then, relief. Dr. Ortiz handed Claire a folder. Inside were the warrants obtained by Agent Powell, a nationwide sweep authorized by the evidence they delivered. Claire stood. Medium sentence. Despite Mark's betrayal, the operation would not fail. They had turned a blow against them into the means for systemic justice. By sunrise, the warehouse was empty, save for agents dusting for prints and cataloging dogs. The rescued animals were loaded into transport crates bound for Cedar Grove and other reputable rescues. Claire climbed in her SUV with Bella and the pups. Marcus climbed in behind her. Dr. Ortiz joined them at the last minute, securing her medical kit. As they drove away, Claire looked in the rearview mirror at Bella's reflective eyes. Long sentence. In those eyes, she saw not just fear from past suffering, but a flicker of hope renewed by rescue, proving that compassion and determination could overcome even the deepest shadows of betrayal. The sun rose over quiet fields as they returned to Willow Creek Farm. The road stretched ahead, clear for the first time in days. Sunlight filtered through the barn's dusty windows as Claire stepped inside Willow Creek Farm's makeshift kennel. Short sentence, peace. Then, a chorus of gentle whimpers greeted her, rescued dogs stirring in straw-lined stalls. Bella's 3 pups tumbled over each other, yapping with puppy-fresh excitement. Claire knelt, brushing stray hay from Bella's golden coat. A soft smile curved her lips, but joy gave way to unease. Medium sentence. The flash drive's contents had sparked nationwide raids. Yet whispers reached Claire's ears, reports that some traffickers had slipped through the dragnet, protected by unseen allies inside law enforcement. Her phone buzzed. It was Agent Powell. She exhaled, tapping the message. Meet in Dover at 2 p.m. Urgent update. Claire's pulse quickened. A call for action. She scooped up a pup and dashed her truck. At Dover's old firehouse turned FBI substation, Claire joined Marcus and Dr. Ortiz in a small conference room. Around them lay printed maps, red ink annotations, and grainy surveillance stills. Short sentence, strategy. Powell entered. His face was grim. He cleared his throat. We hit the breeding network's front door, but its roots run deeper, touching multiple shelters and even federal kennels. He slid a dossier across the table. Claire scanned the pages. Lists of protected assets, shelter IDs, timestamps overlapping official custody logs. Her stomach clenched. Long sentence. The evidence suggested that high-ranking officials had been diverting dogs for years, using legitimate rescue channels as cover for a multi-state trafficking ring. A twist. Short sentence. Betrayal. Dr. Ortiz's hand flew to her mouth. But Mark cooperated. He named names. Powell shook his head. Mark's testimony was solid, but our deeper audit hits dead ends. Records have been altered. Phone logs wiped. Someone inside the bureau is feeding them intel. Claire's heart sank. Medium sentence. The walls were closing in. They faced not just ruthless criminals, but corrupt protectors within the very institution meant to stop them. She glanced at Bella's pups, now settled in a donated crate in the corner. Their soft snores were a fragile promise of safety. Claire drew strength from them. Then we go local, Claire decided, voice steady. We'll bypass compromised channels and work with state police and county sheriffs. Build a coalition. Powell nodded slowly. I can't authorize it, but I support you. Use your network. Outside, Claire and Marcus drove to Dover Township Police Headquarters. Medium-long sentence, as they navigated quiet streets lined with colonial homes. Claire's mind raced. Could community trust really override institutional rot? At the precinct, they met Lieutenant Sarah Nguyen, a respected officer known for integrity. Nguyen agreed to rally her deputies for discreet surveillance and evidence gathering. Short sentence, alliance. That evening, Claire convened her core team at Willow Creek Farm. Marcus, Dr. Ortiz. Jocelyn, volunteer camerawoman. Peter, tech specialist. And 2 new allies, Deputy Nguyen and Community Liaison Pastor Elena Ruiz. The barn's loft glowed under string lights. Bella's quiet presence lent comfort. Claire outlined the plan. Stage transfers for vulnerable dogs under Nguyen's watch, undercover cameras in implicated shelters, secure drop boxes for anonymous tips, and a public outreach campaign to rally citizen vigilance. Long sentence. Each member had a role that played to their strengths. Legal oversight, medical care, tech support, community engagement, all united by a shared goal. They worked late into the night, fueled by takeaway pizza and determination. Then Jocelyn's phone chimed with a location ping. It was her own car, abandoned on Route 301, headlights still on. Her face drained of color. A second twist. Short sentence. Fear. Jocelyn's voice trembled. My car. Someone must have followed me. Claire stood, heart pounding. When did you last see it? About an hour ago, Jocelyn whispered. After I dropped off camera gear at Hope Haven. She swallowed. I felt someone in the back seat. Marcus's jaw tightened. Then they know our moves, our safe house. They're watching. The room stilled. Short sentence. Vulnerability. Pastor Ruiz laid a hand on Jocelyn's shoulder. We'll find them. Deputy Nguyen tapped her tablet. I've already alerted patrol units. We'll grid search the area. Claire drew a breath. And we move tonight. No more delays. That night, under a half moon, they split into teams. Claire led a search party onto the farm's perimeter, flashlights dancing across fences. Peter monitored drone footage. Dr. Ortiz attended to Bella and the pups, ensuring they stayed calm. Marcus and Nguyen swept the nearby fields. In the dark, Jocelyn hovered beside Claire. I'm sorry, she said. I never wanted to. Claire stopped and placed a steady hand on Jocelyn's arm. Medium sentence. You're not to blame. You uncovered vital evidence. We're going to protect you. A faint rustle came from the cornfield. Marcus gestured. They approached quietly. 2 figures darted between rows, hooded, gloved. One carried a tactical case. Claire recognized the gait. Hired muscle. Here, Claire called, stepping forward. The figures bolted toward the service road. Marcus and Nguyen pursued on foot. Claire radioed Peter. Record the pursuit. The chase was frantic, shadows flickering under starlight. Claire's heart thundered as she pursued them across damp grass. The moonlight revealed the case. The very one containing microchip scanners and falsified records. Suddenly, the lead figure tripped. He dropped the case and vanished into a drainage culvert. Claire lunged to secure it. Hearing footsteps retreating, she yanked the case shut. Inside were fresh drives labeled Shelter C, Kennel B, Pora Foundation. A third twist. Short sentence. Expansion. The scheme spanned 3 new sites, each a sanctuary. Claire lifted her head to the sky. Long sentence. The ring was bigger than imagined. But now they held undeniable proof that would force every compromised operation into the light. Back in the barn, they unsealed the tactical case under lantern glow. Deputy Nguyen downloaded the files. Dr. Ortiz distilled the medical logs. Jocelyn confirmed the video timestamps. Each piece fitted like a puzzle. Short sentence. Revelation. Pastor Ruiz pinned a new note on the planning board. Public Town Hall, Saturday, 6 p.m., Dover Community Center. Present findings, rally support. Claire surveyed her team. Tired faces illuminated by hopeful eyes. Medium sentence. They had endured betrayal and danger, yet stood poised to reclaim truth and justice for every dog they vowed to protect. As midnight gave way to pre-dawn hush, Claire knelt by Bella's crate. She whispered, "We fought shadows tonight. Tomorrow, we bring light." Bella responded with a gentle wag, as though promising to stand by her side. And Claire, filled with renewed resolve, knew the final battle was close. Saturday evening dawned over Dover Community Center with an electric sense of anticipation. Claire parked her SUV beneath the lampposts. Bella's pups nestled in the back seat. Short sentence, hope. Then, the lobby buzzed with townsfolk and press, reporters clutching notepads and cameras, volunteers whispering about last week's raids, and even a handful of wary board members from Hope Haven. Inside the main hall, folding chairs faced a modest stage. A medium sentence. Banners proclaimed "Protect our friends" and "Justice for the voiceless," each fluttering slightly in the air flowing from open side doors. Dozens of local citizens, families with leash dogs, seniors clutching pocket-sized cameras, children wide-eyed, filled every seat. A podium stood center stage, microphone ready. Claire's heart thudded as she adjusted her notes. Long sentence. She recalled every moment that led here: thunderstorms under Ridgewood Creek, midnight rescues at Hope Haven, betrayals by trusted allies, and the fragile trust Bella had risked offering to humans again. Each memory serving as both a scar and a beacon guiding her toward this climax. At precisely 6 p.m., the lights dimmed. Pastor Elena Ruiz stepped forward, offering a short invocation for courage. Then she introduced Claire. Short sentence, truth. Then, Claire's voice rang clear as she shared Bella's story. Her escape under the Maple Bridge, the mysterious vanishings at shelters, the trafficking network woven through respected nonprofits. A hush fell over the crowd. Behind Claire, a projector flickered to life, only to sputter and die. A twist. Short sentence, sabotage. Chair shifted. Murmurs rose. Claire froze. Medium sentence. Her throat tightened, but she remembered Bella's calm obedience during storms and drew strength from that quiet courage. Before panic could spread, Jocelyn raised her phone high, live streaming Claire. The screen behind her buzzed back to life, wireless, streaming video of clandestine camera footage. Handlers hauling German shepherds into unmarked vans. GPS logs mapping cross-state transfers. Financial spreadsheets documenting adoptions with blank signatures. Grainy footage froze on a PCB badge reading Dover County Sheriff. Shock rippled through the audience. Short sentence, betrayal. Then, Claire's voice cut through the stunned silence. They try to silence us, she declared. But truth cannot be dimmed. She clicked to the next slide. Side-by-side photos of dogs before and after trafficking. Healthy coats reduced to gaunt frames, bright eyes dulled by fear. Gasps and sniffles echoed. An elderly man in the front row dabbed his cheek. A child whispered, "Mama, why did they take the puppers?" Claire's chest tightened, but she pressed on because silence was never an option. She introduced Deputy Sarah Nguyen to present evidence of compromised officials. Nguyen stepped up, unflinching, and recounted phone log tampering by a county detective who'd been placed on leave. Short sentence, accountability. Nguyen outlined new policies drafted with Claire's team. Multi-agency oversight for rescues, mandatory microchip verification before transfer, and anonymous tip hotlines. The crowd erupted into applause. Medium sentence. Their unified voice rolled through the hall like a wave, drowning out the few shout-downs from frightened board members who tried to argue the footage was fake. The community would not be swayed. Next, Dr. Lena Ortiz shared medical records recovered from the breeding facility's purge, showing systematic neglect. untreated injuries, rampant disease, and calculated breeding cycles, all hidden behind glossy brochures. She held a stack of those brochures in one hand and a blood-stained veterinary chart in the other. Short sentence, contrast. Stunned reporters scribbled furiously. Phones recorded every word. Long sentence. As Lena closed her testimony, she noted how Bella's disruption of hidden kennels had uncovered the darkest corners of that enterprise and underscored the profound power of one dog's instinct to reveal secrets, secrets that no human strategy could have exposed so completely. At the meeting's close, Claire stepped back to the podium. She barely recognized herself. Hair loose, eyes bright with resolve. Her raincoat draped over one arm. Short sentence, transformation. Then, tonight, we have done more than expose corruption. We have reaffirmed our shared humanity and our duty to protect those who cannot speak for themselves. A ripple of agreement swept the room. Then the mayor took the stage. He announced immediate suspension of all questionable shelter licenses and the formation of a special investigative task force led by state police, with Claire and Gwen serving as civilian advisors. Short sentence, triumph. Outside, as the crowd spilled into cool night air, Claire knelt beside Bella. The dog wagged her tail shyly, pups tumbling at her feet. Medium sentence. Here, under a canopy of stars, the storms felt distant, replaced by something far more powerful, a community's unbreakable commitment to justice and care. Marcus slipped video evidence to reporters. Pastor Ruiz organized volunteer signups for new rescue teams. Jocelyn and Peter coordinated live updates to a statewide canine welfare hotline. The newly formed coalition promised to extend oversight to every shelter and kennel in Delaware. Claire watched as citizens, once strangers, exchanged hugs and phone numbers, forging partnerships between neighbors, law enforcement, veterinarians, and clergy. Long sentence. In that moment, she understood that every small act of compassion, whether feeding a hungry dog or risking one's safety to gather evidence, could spark a movement that reshaped an entire region's moral compass. As the final empty crates of rescued dogs were loaded into uniformed vehicles for safe transport, Claire allowed herself a rare smile. Short sentence, renewal. Then, she whispered to Bella, "We did it." Under the glow of street lamps, the Heart Force Channel logo on a van illuminated the promise of tomorrow, lasting vigilance, compassionate action, and the knowledge that one person and one brave dog can make all the difference. Throughout Bella's journey, we witness resilience in the face of despair. Claire's unwavering compassion and the community's solidarity remind us that even the smallest voice can spark monumental change. When we choose empathy over apathy and take action despite fear, we illuminate the path toward healing. This story teaches that trust, once broken, can be rebuilt through consistent kindness and courage. It shows us that individual sacrifice, whether offering shelter or sharing evidence, can topple powerful corruption. Above all, Bella's faith in humans, restored bite by bite, inspires us to protect the vulnerable. May her journey remind us that compassion strengthens all. Eager to hear your reflections, what moment in Bella's journey resonated most with you? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you found hope in this story, please subscribe to Heart Force Channel and join us for more inspiring tales. Bella's journey from a muddy bridge under stormy skies to a place where a community rallied on her behalf reminds us that resilience and compassion can transform adversity into hope. When we choose to stand by the vulnerable, as Claire and her allies did, we create ripples of change. Each act of kindness, no matter how small, chips away at injustice and builds trust. When systems fail, individual courage, empathy, and unwavering dedication can restore bonds and illuminate a path toward healing. Bella's story teaches us that the smallest voices can spark the greatest movements when people unite for a common purpose. What part of Bella's journey, her escape under the storm, her unwavering trust, or her role in exposing the ring moved you most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you believe every life matters, please subscribe to Heart Force channel for more stories that inspire and unite.